Hello and welcome back to another Farming Simulator Giants Editor tutorial, and today I'm going to be playing around on the sample mod map again, and today I'm going to actually be importing the potato washer. And now I have a placeable version which I've extracted. I believe this is from Marhu. I've had this a little while actually as a placeable, but I will get a link and put in the description if I remember to do so, if I can find it. So I'm going to be basically copying this over into my sample mod map here and then importing it into the map and showing you hopefully how to set it all up and get it working. So the first thing I'm going to do here is actually copy it over into the map folder. So I'm going to put it into the map models buildings folder. So I'm going to make a copy of it and then come over here and paste it in like so. Then what I'm going to do is actually rename this because that's far too long. So what I'm going to do is just call it P-Washer. Call it whatever you want to when you import it, but I would highly recommend that you do actually rename it to something shorter because it will make your life a little easier when you have to get into actually creating path file names for the particle systems, which we will get into shortly. So now that I've got that into there like so, I'm going to go back into my Giants Editor session here. And then I'm going to actually go into the taskbar and then import it into the map. Now I've just imported a gas station so that I can actually get some fuel to put into the actual potato washer. I've also got down just a straightforward little water trigger here from the standard sort of setup, but I actually brought in the gas station here. I believe this was actually a 2013 mod. But and it's just been brought over to 2015, so quite a nice little trigger and quite a nice little pump actually. So I just brought that in so that I can actually get some fuel to get this all up and running. So anyway, I'm going to go into my taskbar, like I say, go File, Import, go to my desktop, into my map folder, Maps or Map, and then oops, wrong one, Models, and then Buildings, and then come down to my P-Washer here. Click on that, and then I'm going to just double click on the potato washer i3D. Okay, so first thing you may notice there that it's actually brought in a camera. Now we don't need that. It could possibly cause shadowing issues, lighting issues, etc, etc. Now you may feel that burying it under the map might be an option, but honestly you don't need it, so I would highly recommend that you select it in the cinegraph here and then just delete it with the delete key on your keyboard. So now that I've got rid of that, I'm going to re-highlight my potato washer here, and I'm going to go Edit, Interactive Placement, and then bring it over onto the map where I want to put it. Now again, this is just a sample mod map, so anywhere will do, but you will need to obviously finesse it and move it to a position that's more comfortable and looks right for you on the map you're going to be importing it into. Okay, so now it's just a case of manipulating it to a position and getting it into an area that you want it to be and leveling it out and all the rest of it. Now this particular mod is structured a specific way because it's a placeable. It has different layers to it, if you like, so you can actually click on this base plate as a separate item and then delete it if you so wish to. So I could actually delete that and just have the potato washer on the ground on its own without the actual base plate. Entirely up to you how you want to do that. But I'm going to actually leave it in place for now, and that'll be up to you to experiment with when you bring it into the map that you're going to be putting it onto. So, okay, now that I've got that there like so, and I'm not going to mess about too much with finessing it massively because obviously this is just demonstration purposes, so pretty much anywhere will do the job as long as it works. Okay, so now what I want to do is actually have a play around with some of the bits and pieces that I need to join together to make all of the animations work. Now again, in my experience when I've played around with this in the past, the animations, the particle animations and things like that, if you don't get them all allocated correctly, there's a possibility that the actual potato washer will not fire up. It will not start. Even if you give it all of the appropriate bits and pieces, the potatoes, the fuel and the water, because you haven't allocated those particle animations correctly, it will not actually start. I've actually fast forwarded several days in game, and it still won't start up because I was missing a particular path file name for a particle animation or a particle system. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So again, in the cinegraph, I'm going to click on the plus symbol to expand it out. And if we look down in our transform groups and our cubes and bits and pieces within the actual potato washer itself, now that it's expanded, we're going to start with the first one, which is our output trigger. And if I click on the plus symbol again, we've got our two products. And if I click on the first one with the user attributes window open, and if you haven't already got this open, just go up to your taskbar window and then user attributes, and this will pop up. And you can see in there our product one is washed potatoes, so great. And if we actually then go a plus again to expand that transform group, we've got a cube inside there which is called the palette spawner. And if I click on that, it actually gives me a palette file name and a path file name to that actual i3D. And if I scroll across inside here, you can see that that's actually a washed potato palette.i3D. So I need to locate that and then create the path file name in there to that i3D. So if I go back into my sample mod map folder here, and you can see that we've got map, models, buildings, p washer, and then we've got our washed potato palette.i3D. So what I need to do is now make that path file name within the Giants editor session here. So I'm just going to bring my Giants editor session down slightly so I can actually see that. So we've got map, models, buildings, p washer, and then the actual i3D. So now that path file name is correct for locating that i3D, so we get our palette spawn in and obviously then fill with washed potatoes. So that's the first one that we need to have a play around with. Our other output trigger is just the actual compost, so there's nothing that needs to be added in there, that's already sorted out for us. So the next thing I need to do is actually look in our work animation. If I click on the plus again to expand that out, you've got this transform group called PS, which I would assume stands for particle system or particle systems. So if I again click on the plus symbol, we have our particle systems, which is the exhaust, potato PS input, output, drum, and the compost. So what I need to do is actually allocate those path file names again for each of those i3Ds. So if I go back into the actual mod map here again, and we're in our map, models, buildings, p washer, and you've got that folder there called PS, again for particle system or particle systems, however that's set up. And you can see we've got our i3Ds in here. So what I need to do is actually create that path file name to point to this folder specifically. So again, I'm going to just have that at the top and bring my Giants editor session down so I can see that folder structure there to help me create the path file name. So again, we go map, models, buildings, p washer, and then we've got our PS already there, and then the actual i3D. Noting that the PS is actually in uppercase, and if you have any uppercase letters in the actual path file name, make sure that you do put them in, because it is somewhat case sensitive. I have found that it may actually work and it will run the actual particle animation or whatever else, or if it's an XML or whatever, but you will actually get in your console down here, if you were to then save it and reopen it, you could possibly get case sensitive errors. It'll probably say case invalid and then point you in the direction of that particular i3D or XML or whatever else you're working with. So I do highly recommend that you keep your uppercase and lowercase letters correct for the actual map structure that you're looking for, or the path file name you're creating. Okay, so now that we've got that done, what I'm going to do is actually just scroll across here to get to the section that was already there, the PS and then the actual i3D text itself, and I'm just going to highlight that and copy it so that I can then come over and paste it into all of the others. Because they are all in the same folder, then that's where I need to basically look for all of them, so don't need to continually type it out each time. Just double checking that they're all gone in okay. Yep, perfect. So now that I've got all that set up, there's nothing else there that I need to actually mess around with, because the sound files and things like that have already been allocated by putting it in a certain folder structure. And if I click on one of them and come over to my attributes window over the right hand side here and click on audio, you can see that the file name has been created, and it's actually grayed out, so I can't adjust it anyway, but that's perfectly fine. So I don't need to do anything there with the sounds or anything, so excuse me. So we're all good there. So now that I've got that all set up and the path file name for the palette spawner and all of the particle systems are set up, I can go ahead and save my Giants editor session. Okay, so now that I've saved my Giants editor session, I can go ahead and close that down. And then what I need to do is actually come back to the modDesc and add a few parts into there. So I'm just going to open that up like so. And then I'm going to open a potato washer folder I've got on my desktop and open the modDesc for that particular placeable mod. And in here we've got some text between our 110 end section that I need to add in. But you need to be a bit careful here, because in some cases it will be just highlight all of the text between the 110 end tags, and some cases it won't be. And you can see here at the bottom you've got this text section here for the potato washer description, and that is what actually shows up in your store because it's a placeable. So it's called the C data because that's what will be displayed in store when you go to purchase this, to then place it on your map in game. But we don't require that because we're going to be obviously importing this through Giants Editor. So just be aware of that. So what I need to do is actually just highlight all of the other text, but not that part there. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, come back over into my sample mod map here, and then find the appropriate place to put it. Now this particular map, being a sample mod map, doesn't have a great deal on it, so I can just put it anywhere there like so. And then I'll go ahead and save. So the next part I need to bring in is the actual extra source files. Now because I've actually brought some parts in with the Schweinmast, I've got some extra source files in here already, but if you were actually doing this for the first time on a map that you were creating and you hadn't got any extra source files already added in, then you would need to highlight and copy the whole lot. But because we have already got some, all I need to do is just copy the actual text within that section. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then come back over, create my new line, and then paste them in like so, and save again. Okay, so now I don't need this placeable modDesc open anymore, because all of the rest of it is relevant only to the placeable version. So I can go ahead and close that down. So now working with the scripts themselves, I need to put them in a particular folder and then create the path file name to find those scripts so they can be run correctly. So what I'm going to do is just minimize that down like so, and then I'm going to go back into my map here, my sample mod map, and I'm going to go into the map folder, and in here I'm going to create a new folder and call it scripts. And then I'm going to open that up, and then I'm going to basically highlight both of these scripts, copy them, and then paste them into that folder. Now those scripts will be actually in the folder that we copied them into earlier on. So if I go back into map, models, buildings, and then my pwasher folder, you will see those scripts are actually there. So you could copy them from there, or even move them from there if you wish to, or create your own path file name within the modDesc to this particular folder structure. But what I want to do is keep this path file name down to a minimum if I can. So I'm going to actually just by creating that folder, I can do that. Just makes it somewhat easier to type it out. So now that I've got those into there, I can actually now create that path file name. So I've got map, scripts, and then the actual fabric script itself. So what I can do now is just highlight that, copy it, and then paste it in down there like so. Just keeps it somewhat smaller, less to type in and whatever else. But it's entirely up to you how you go about doing that. Create your path file name however you wish to do so, whatever works for you. So I can go ahead and save again. So now that I've got all that part done, I don't need to actually play around with this anymore. I'm done with whatever I need to do within the modDesc, so I can go ahead and close all that down. So the next thing I want to look at here is the HUDs themselves for the potato washer. So we've got a folder here called HUDs, or HUD, and it's got our compost and our washed potatoes in there. So what I'm going to do here is actually copy the entire folder over into my script folder that I created earlier. So now I can close that one down. So what I need to do now though is actually look in the field types _reg.lua script here and change the path file name, because at the moment it's showing that those PNG files are in the folder HUD, which is that folder there, but not under that particular folder structure, or not that path file name. So what I need to do here is just basically go in and change that slightly to map scripts, HUD, like so. And then I can just highlight that, copy it, and paste it in down here for the compost as well. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here is, looking through this script, I can see that the washed potato HUD file is perfectly fine, but the compost one is not, because if you remember rightly, when I showed you the output trigger in the actual Giants editor session, our output trigger, or one of our output triggers, would give us compost, but this is actually showing as compost soil. And it does actually show a little bit down here about field types and things like that to do with compost and solid and compost solid and bits and pieces. What I'm going to say here is that we need to change that from compost soil HUD file to compost, because otherwise it will look for compost soil, which is not what it's actually set up to give us. It's actually set up to just give us compost. And if we were to leave that as it was, our HUD would not be displayed correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. So it now gives us compost HUD file and then the appropriate path file name for the compost HUD.png. Okay, so now I can go ahead and save that and shut that down as well. And then what I need to do is just basically zip all this up, put it into game, and then we can have a look and see whether it all works. So I will see you shortly in game. So I've put the file together and zipped it all up, put it into the mod folder and come into game, and I just wanted to have a look in our store prices page here to make sure that our HUDs actually showed up correctly, and the actual PNG files have displayed perfectly fine for our potatoes washed, and this would be obviously our compost, but as you can see there, it's showing missing compost in 110n_en.xml. So for whatever reason there's something not quite right there. So what I'm going to do is actually come out now before we go too far into this and have a look to see what's going on there. So just bear with me and I'll see you back on the desktop. Okay, so I've got back to the desktop here and I've opened up the modDesc here to have a look through to see why we're getting a 110n error within the store prices page. And you can see here that this is the text that I copied over from the placeable mod. But if we actually look here at compost, it's actually spelt with a K, not a C. But we require that because in the actual Giants editor session, looking at the potato wash itself, you will see that the name, the text name for the compost output is actually spelt that way. So we still require that particular line of text. But if we go back into our field types _reg.lua script here, what we're actually registering as a fruit type is compost, spelt with a C, not a K. So what we need to do here is actually copy this line, create a new line, and then paste that in and change that to a C so that it actually shows compost. So we've now added a separate line in so that the reg field type script can actually register compost, and our 110n section here can also accept that as a fruit type, and that text name will now show up hopefully as it's meant to. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, close both of those down, and then I will rezip this all up, get it back into game, and we'll have a look to see if that fixed it or not. So just bear with me and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so we're now back in game and I'm already starting to collect up a few potatoes here to put into the potato washer itself. But if I actually now go into the store's prices page, you can see that that text is now showing up correctly. So by adding that additional line in the modDesc.xml, we've fixed that missing 110N problem we had before. So that's a bonus, that's good. All these different triggers and scripts and bits and pieces, they sometimes cause a little bit of problems because you need to register a certain field type or fruit type, but then the additional script that you're trying to work with can then conflict with it, I guess. So a little bit of extra text and a little bit of this and a little bit of that seems to fix the problem, so we're going to go with it. It seemed to overcome the problem, so I'm good. That's good for me. So what I'm going to do now, as I say, just keep collecting some of these potatoes. So I'm just going to switch over to this will do, and I need to find a trailer. I believe this one will more than likely have some potatoes in it, again from excuse me, the Schweinmast mod that I installed in one of my previous videos. Yep. So that's fine, so we'll just go and grab a few of these. I don't need many, I'm just going to put a little bit in there just to get it fired up and hopefully fired up, he says. And then we'll go from there. So I'm not going to harvest the entire field or anything like that. Just a few, just to get it up and running. So as I say, I'll just collect what's in there like so. That's fine, we don't need too many. Just enough to get it to register that it's actually got potatoes in there, and the rest should take care of itself. And then what I'll do is I'll collect up some water and fuel. I probably will do that off screen just so that you don't have to watch me drive around setting this up, but the idea will be that the triggers and everything should work. So I'll just show this one on video, like, just so you can see it's actually working. So there we go, and it's put the potatoes in, they're perfect. So I'm going to stop the video. So I've gone ahead and added in some fuel, so you can see now that we've got diesel at 100%, seeds would be potatoes at 28% and water at 100%. So with any luck, I'm just going to fast forward time slightly, and there we go. All started up perfectly fine, and it's now producing compost and washed potatoes, or potatoes washed, perfectly okay. We've got our pallet spawn in, no problem, and it's showing up our potatoes in there. There we go. And all the animations are working exactly as intended, so fantastic. So yeah, there you go, potato washer. How to install it into a mod. Again, this, I've taken this as a placeable mod and then broken it down, if you like, and taken what I needed and adapted certain parts of it to give me what I need. Now with pallets, I believe from the experience with this particular mod in the past, not the placeable version. This is the first time that I've actually worked with the placeable version, but I chose it because it was what I had available to actually import into a map, because I have actually tried to export some of these types of mods from other mods, from other maps, and it's caused them to break for whatever reason. So getting the placeable version was, like I said, I had it for some time, just never actually put it into a map as a placeable, because the maps that I've been playing on, I've already had it on them. So I've never actually worked with the placeable mod itself, but the one that I've worked with on maps that have them on from, through Giants Editor, the palette can be sold directly at the wall palette sell point. So I would imagine that this was going to be exactly the same. Now I don't have one set up on this map, but every map's usually got, most maps have got it, so it's not too bad. If not, just find one that has and export it and then import it into the map that you're going to be playing around with. But I would imagine most maps would have it. If you're creating your own map, then this particular sample mod map does have one. It comes with all the parts you require, so there would be one somewhere that you could then set up and adjust it as necessary. But anyway, the actual point of the video is to show you how to get the potato washer into a map and then set up all of the particle system path file names, and then play around with the modDesc to get the correct text and get the reg field type script to give us what it is we actually require. Now obviously this was set up as compost. If you wish to change the output trigger to compost soil, then the changes we made in the reg field type script from compost soil to compost would not be required, but I believe the changes in the modDesc would be necessary, but instead of actually changing it to compost, you more than likely would have to then change it to compost soil. But again, I'm going to stick with what this was originally set up as, which would be compost. So yeah, I can't really show you much more there than what I have shown you. Hopefully it's of some help to you. Like I say, this is really just about how to get the mod into the map through Giants Editor, and then for you to experiment around with the rest of it. But please leave a note in the comments if you have any questions or whatever else, or just say hi, whatever. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.